Hi, YouTube. I'm back for now, so we'll see. But just feeling really inspired lately and making a lot of big plans. Maybe that's a mistake. Well, I don't want to say big plans, but making plans for the rest of the year. And I thought it would be fun to share some of them. I do have one more small haul video planned, and that's probably my last haul of the year as far as art supplies and everything goes. I try to wrap up before November and December and just chill out before my birthday, which is in March. So, and I always say I don't know what else I could get, but somehow I always find things to get. Anyway, that's off topic. But before the end of the year, usually every year, I try to work through some of my mostly finished or half finished pads of paper and sketchbooks and just try to make some progress there. I don't know how everyone else is, but I usually work in multiple books at a time. I don't know why I do that, but I probably have about 6 or 7 active ones right now that I've been working in since 2019, which sounds completely ridiculous, but that's just how my brain works. Sometimes I want to work big, sometimes I want to work small, sometimes I want to work on good paper, and sometimes I just work on trash paper, cheap ones that are, probably not even acid free or that I would never buy again. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it would be fun this year to challenge myself to get through the last couple ones that are really close to the end. So I'm not going to flip through them right now, but when I finish them, I plan to do a video of my finished ones and just go through what I managed to get done. I don't have too many pages left in some of them, but it's like this one I've been working on for a few years now. It's been so long since I had this. I think the cover designs on these are different, but this is a Master's Touch little drawing pad from Hobby Lobby, and it's a 4x6, and I do have some other ones in this size, but I haven't started any of them yet because I said I won't open them until I finish the ones that I've got, and I kind of flipped through a couple pages in my last video, but I really love the paper in the Master's Touch drawing pads. It takes colored pencils so well, and so I actually have quite a few different drawing pads in all different sizes, but in this paper because I just love it so much. It's 145 GSM and it's acid free, and this little book has 50 sheets and it's almost done. I've done quite a bit in it, just mostly ideas, but I like to go through and finish all these half left pages that don't have anything on them. So that's kind of my project for the rest of the year with all of these sketchbooks, and we will see how it goes. This one's almost done, but I need to go through and mark it. I've been using these flags lately. I don't know, I just found them in one of my drawers, and just been tagging pages that have blank sides to them, and then it's kind of nice. The sticky part of them is pretty good, so after I fill the pages to my liking, I take the tags and stick them back on here, and I just keep reusing them until they don't stick anymore. So kind of a fun way to use something else I wasn't doing anything with, but I haven't marked this one yet, but it's almost there, and I actually really love this book. This size has been so fun just to keep with me in my purse or take to work, and I really like it. Next up is this book that I actually hate, but the more I've worked in it, I've kind of grown attached to it. The paper is horrible. I talked about this in the other video, but it's really smooth paper, so it doesn't take pencil very well. Probably, honestly, better suited to pen and ink, and as I stated in the last video, this is a Sam's. It was just labeled as Sam's Blank Book. I never heard of the brand. I just bought it because it was $2.99 at the time, but it was shrink wrapped so you couldn't feel the paper, which that probably was a big mistake on my part, because it's hard to buy a sketchbook without knowing what type of paper's in there, and it really didn't say. The label was just very generic. But I'm actually kind of sad that this one's coming to an end, so I don't have too many pages. In this book, the blue tabs were blank, and then the pink and yellow were just things I wanted to go back and revisit and kind of work some more. But there's only 2 blank pages left, and everything else has something on it, and I've been working on this one since 2024, so it really didn't take too long to fill this one up. I've been feeling really inspired lately, so I've been doing a lot in it. It's pretty abused. None of these are really what I would call aesthetic or pretty, but I don't care. It's just for me. My sketchbooks, I don't really do, people call them spreads, and they have them all planned out, and a lot of people have finished work in theirs, but mine is more like where I'm experimenting and just messing around with ideas that I would later do on bigger pieces of paper, and with better materials. But honestly, I don't know. I just love the freedom that a crappy sketchbook brings. And then this is part of a little 5-pack that I got at Five Below. It's like a accessory store and mostly aimed at kids and teens, but they come in these big 5-packs and it's only $5. The whole gimmick there is that everything is $5 and under, but I love this paper. It's not acid free at all, but it has a really nice texture to it, and colored pencils just lay down so well on it. This probably is my favorite paper that I've ever used. I wish I could find an equivalent in a professional brand that would hold up better, but oh well. I have a lot of these. I have the remaining 4 from this set, and then I found another set. I don't really care for the covers too much, but it's just holding the book together at this point. But this one I've been working on since apparently July of 2024, and it's about halfway there. I've got I haven't marked all the pages here, but this one, I don't know if I'd get this one done by the end of the year. That'd be a stretch because there's just so many blank pages left, plus pages that only have one side completed. But we're adding it to the pile of prospects. The one that I really would like to finish that I've been working on for a long time is this Big Daddy sketchbook. I love this paper so much. This is from Walmart, and it's that Bee inspired. It's by the Bee Paper Company. They have a lot of other paper products and sketchbooks and more professional grade, but I think they rebranded it now. It's like Bee Elite or something. I don't know. I couldn't get it for a long time. I was going to replace this one, but this isn't truly finished. But they recently redid the covers and re-released them, but they have way less pages and they're charging more for a smaller book. But this had 150 sheets and it's quite thick, like you can see here. I ran out of blue tabs, so I had to start using other colors, but there's a lot of tabs that are just one empty side of a page. I really hate to leave it like that. But this one has been my most productive book for coming up with like comic ideas and projects I've been working on. I do a lot of the rough sketches for the panels in here, and I use whatever I want. I colored pencil, a lot of just ink pen, ballpoint pen, oil pastel. I've basically used anything and everything I could get my hands on. I tried Ohuhu markers in here. It's not the greatest paper for that. It just completely bleeds through. So some of those pages I'm trying to paint the backs of, and it's like can't really draw on the back of that because you won't be able to see your pencil lines, but it's been a lot of fun to mess with. But I've had this one since 2022 and I really love this. The paper's great. Honestly, it's kind of reminds me of that Hobby Lobby paper I like so much, and it's 74 pound, 120 GSM, so a little less quality than that Hobby Lobby one, but I like how thick it is. I didn't like it for a long time because I really thought all the pages were going to start falling out with this spiral binding, but I haven't had any issues with it at all, and I've carried this in a backpack and in leather bags, and it's been banged up, but the pages are all still there, and they're all perforated, so you could tear them out if you wanted to do a completed piece. I have not used that sketchbook for completed art. I've just been doing a lot of brainstorming, but I'll be so excited when I'm done with this so I can finally do a proper tour of it. Of course, as stated with the other books that I have, I won't be able to show everything on YouTube because there's a lot of mature content, adult content, and nudity and things, but you know, you get the point. Maybe I'll add them to my Patreon account and put them on there for a full tour, but it's just fun to see the growth and comparing 2019 all the way to now, because I've done a lot of different things as far as how I start my drawings, and lately I've really liked just starting my sketches with colored pencil, and I never used to do that, but I saw some other people doing that and I thought I'd give it a try. But some colored pencils actually lay down a lot better than my graphite, and then if I'm working in colored pencil or paint, I don't have to really go back and erase so much and tear up my paper, so I really like that. Some other things I've been working on, or sorry, there's one more thing I thought maybe I could finish. I don't think this is going to happen at all, but I have this watercolor book I had gotten off of Temu, and I don't think it was cotton water paper, but it was, or cotton watercolor paper. It was just a little fabric covered book that they had, but I really love the paper in it, and I've done a couple things so far. I showed them in a different video, I think, but there's some sketches and some concepts and A bunch of blank pages left. I think there's 30 sheets, maybe 20, I'm not sure. But it would be cool to finish this with watercolor, but it takes me a long time to finish things that I paint, so that probably won't happen. But if I could get through it, that'd be cool to add to the stack. But these 4 for sure I would really love to get done by the end of the year. And it's October 20th right now, so it's pretty doable. I've been falling back in love with some old supplies also, just to kind of get out of a funk. Sometimes just laying down color and looking at everything can make you inspired. I went through all my Ohuhu markers recently. I had a lot of alcohol markers, and honestly I thought having the big giant set would be so great because I wouldn't have to blend so much, but I really enjoy blending. I don't know why I keep trying to convince myself that I need all these colors when I do much better with a limited palette. So I kind of went through and pulled out ones that were kind of, they weren't really duplicates, but they're so similar that I wouldn't notice if I didn't have it. I think I had bought, it was a few years ago now, probably 4 years ago, I got the Ohuhu 216 or 200 and something set, but it's way too many markers, and they're so bulky, they're hard to store. So I sorted through, this isn't even all the swatch sheets, but I had done something with the other one. I think I swatched my Derwent drawing pencils on it, and I tore half of the page apart. But anyway, you get the point. I just went through and laid them all down so I could pull out ones that were very similar. And then I was just swatching some metallic colors and some watercolors that I hadn't used in a while. This was my main watercolor set that I use all the time. I have quite a bit of watercolors, but my go-to just messing around palette is this. It was a 48 color Master's Touch, and I've taken out quite a few of the colors from there, and all the ones that I put X's on, I was like, oh, I want to take these out. I don't really use those colors ever, and I kind of slimmed it down. I also had some iridescent colors that I had added. I had found at Ollie's a few years ago, like Arteza iridescent colors. I love these paints. They're beautiful, and I have quite a few of them, duplicates of the same ones. They were like 2 in 1 for 99 cents or something, so you couldn't beat the price of it. But I just had got a couple of them, but because they were doubled up, I ended up with more than planned. But this is my main go-to. I don't even know, this isn't even anything special, honestly. I don't really go on my way to buy store-branded art supplies just because I feel like it's all just the same mass-produced junk that you see on Amazon and Temu and all the other places, but they just put their little label on it and try to sell it to you for a ridiculous price. But I think I had got this for maybe $20 or something years ago, and I just keep getting little pans, and I'll swap them out once in a while. I have empty pans. I'll buy tubes once in a while and throw them in here. I have a couple of sets too of some Daniel Smith watercolors. I should do a proper watercolor video if anybody would be curious, but I ended up getting years ago a Daniel Smith. It was a mixing set or a sample set, but it just had primaries, primary like a magenta, a yellow, and some blue and a white, and then watercolor ground, which I've never used. But I mixed up a bunch of teeny tiny pans. I should grab it. I'll grab it real quick. Let me pause. All right, so I grabbed it amongst other things. But this is how the original set was. It was this little starter set, and I think it was like $30 or something, maybe less, I don't know. Oh, there's a couple other random small colors I put in here. I don't have a lot of tubes of watercolor paint. This is basically the extent of it, and random Payne's Gray. But it was my first time trying Daniel Smith. I haven't bought any more since then because what I ended up doing was just taking that primary set and just mixing up bunches of colors here, but some of them I gotta be careful because they are crumbly. But I went through almost the whole color wheel and just, that's an empty one just to mix, and just made a bunch of different paint colors because I thought it would be silly to buy a bunch of giant sets of paint when I could just mix from the mixing set. So I kind of did that in this one, and then I can still freely mix within the palettes. Obviously I can make some more colors, but this is pretty good for now. But they're really beautiful. They work well. I gotta bust these out more. I kind of forget that I did this. This was like a day-long project of mixing all these colors, and I haven't even done anything with them. But I really love this set, and they're honestly they're small tubes. And when I got it, I thought these aren't going to go very far, but there's still paint in the tubes. They're 5 ml, and I've also used them in other things as well. I have this Winsor & Newton palette that was clearance. It was a skin tone portrait set, but I added Daniel Smith colors in here, just basically the whole primary set, and I think that might be that Payne's Gray that I have. And then I also have them in this other little travel palette. I don't remember what's in these. I think these might be gouaches that I had mixed. I like to just take a few colors and just mix every color that I would want. And this is just a little mini travel watercolor palette. So I'm pretty well set on these. But I really should use my Daniel Smith a lot more. So maybe I'll bust that out and work through that little book. But it's just been fun. Sometimes you forget what you have and you have to go back through and just pull out things that you've done. I don't paint with these as much as I should, though. I'm kind of ashamed to admit. It's almost a waste of having that set, but I like that I restrained myself. I really want to get a Paul Rubens set. There's one I've been having my eye on. I've seen a couple people review it. I've been wanting to try it, but I can't justify the price when that starter set was less than half of getting something like that, and I've made so many colors from it. But we'll see. I don't know. I say a lot of things and then turn around and give in to my urges there. So anyway, I just thought it was kind of fun to talk about what I want to work on. So I'd like to use up some more watercolors. And speaking of that, I was going back and working on a couple things. I have this Hobby Lobby watercolor paper pad I got probably back in 2019. I don't know. It's been so long. They changed all the covers of these books. So I went there recently and I was like, oh my gosh, I've had my paper way too long. They already reproduced all the styles. But these were just like crappy sketches that I went through, and I was using that black palette on. And I'll put some pictures in of the befores because I kind of did a base layer and then never returned to them, but I've been coming back and adding to them. This isn't my greatest one. I think I might work it with some pencils, but I could make it bigger and better after I fill it in more. But thought it was fun to go back and fill in some details on these. So we're getting there. A little more detail. And this is all with this little Master's Touch set. I didn't stretch my paper very well. I will say I think they're so old that some of the sizing is going bad, and then there's like the strip where it adheres in the book. I can't paint over that edge for some reason on a couple of these, and this one also got ruined, but I really like how they're turning out so far. I'm getting a little more depth and dimension than what I had in the original one, so I think it would be fun to finish those. And there's actually a couple more in that pad, but we'll see. And there's a few sheets in there. If I could get all my sketchbooks and that little random watercolor pad finished by the end of the year, I think I will be very satisfied. So 4 books and maybe 5 sheets left of watercolor paper. I gotta say too, the Hobby Lobby watercolor paper really isn't terrible. It's not 100% cotton, or it's not anything fancy, but I mean, I've done a lot of layers on both of these, and the paper has held up well with no pilling or tearing, and I can still see the texture. I like cold press, so that's what I tend to buy, and you can see that the texture comes through in my painting. These are just kind of scenes from little stories that I like to write, and yeah, I don't know, I'd really like to get through all of these books by the end of the year, so we'll see. This is my starting video. It's October 20th. So what's that? I got 11 days left of this month, 30 days in November, and 31 in, so we have what, 72 days before the end of the year to see if I can finish up these couple books. I don't know, we'll see. So thanks for watching. I'll be coming in with that haul as soon as it gets here. I'm kind of excited to share what I've got, and then I'm also hoping to do my supply collection videos. I wanted to update those. My colored pencil collection is my most viewed video, I think. Well, no, that's not true. There's a cheap art supply video that was my most viewed video for some random reason from a few years ago. But I always love watching other people's collections, and I like seeing their setup, and those have always inspired me from even when I was a teenager. It was my favorite thing to look up online. I would just look up pictures of people's workspaces and all their supplies laid out in their area, and I like to contribute to it because that's what inspires me. So I'll be sharing those soonish. Sorry for the lack of editing. I am not an editor. I do not film. I know my table wobbles, and I don't have a very great microphone, but you know what? If you love the content, you'll bear with it and bear with me, and maybe I'll get better at it someday. But my focus is art, and filming it is just kind of a way to document for myself and anybody else that might be interested. But thanks for watching. Have a good day. Have your good cup of coffee, and I hope you make something.